All right, guys, welcome back to another video. So it's that time of the year again, the Game Awards. Every single year we have the Game Awards, and every single year the nominations come out and people are annoyed that their game didn't get nominated for the Game of the Year or maybe anything whatsoever. But this year in particular, 2023 has been one of the greatest, if not the greatest year in video game releases. So many great games, so many high quality games, high rated games. There's just so much stuff to play. Your backlog is probably bursting at the seams. Now, one of the reasons why 2023 is so great, because we're getting the layover from the pandemic, from the lack of games in 2022, especially on the Xbox side of things. So we just had everything crammed into this year, and getting all of those and basing them out on what is the best game, ranking them from first to last is extremely hard because there's a lot of good stuff here. Now, we got the nominations. I'm not going to go through them all, but we will talk about the Game of the Year nominations because this one in particular, as it is every single year, has a lot of people talking. So here are the Game of the Year nominations: Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I'll be honest here. I've only played 2 of these 6 Game of the Year nominations: Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and Resident Evil 4, both games that I would say absolutely could be in the running for a Game of the Year nomination. I mean, I love Zelda. It's one of my favorite franchises. I loved Tears of the Kingdom. I'm not surprised that it is there. I won't be surprised if it actually does take home the award. Resident Evil 4, I have the Collector's Edition, easily one of my favorite games of the year, but I don't think in any way this game should be nominated in this category in 2023 when there are so many other games out there that could be in there. Just the main one at the top of my head right now that I think should be in this category is Starfield. And of course, Starfield did get snubbed for that Game of the Year. It only got actually 1 nomination out of all of the nominations for these awards, and that was for the Best RPG. Now, another game here that I think should be in Game of the Year nominations that was successful in many other ways, I think it got about 5 or 6 nominations, is Hi-Fi Rush. It actually got Best Action Game nomination, Best Audio Design nomination, Best Score and Music, Best Art Direction, and Innovation in Accessibility. So they didn't forget about Hi-Fi Rush whatsoever. It did get a bunch of nominations, and I'm happy for that because I think this is one of those games that I was expecting people would completely forget about it as it came out early. It shadow dropped, and by the time we got to the Game Awards, they may snub it for a lot more than they did. I was really hoping that this one would get a Game of the Year nomination just because of the breath of fresh air it was. It was a brand new IP. It was a brand new idea in that we hadn't seen in a while, combining that combat with the music and the graphics and the brand new characters. It was just really, really cool. And I was hoping they would bring something creative like that into the Game of the Year nomination. But unfortunately, it didn't. I'm hoping that it will win a couple of these. I honestly think that it could win every single one of these awards. I think it would deserve it, and I would be completely fine with that. That's how much I enjoyed Hi-Fi Rush. But getting back to here, there's a debate here. I mean, Starfield's not in here. Why is Starfield not in Game of the Year? Did it get snubbed? I think personally, it absolutely did get snubbed for a Game of the Year nomination. From everything that Starfield is, the scope of the game, the ability to kind of play it however you want to play it, and just the magic of that world, the characters, the story is really cool, the end game, all of that stuff. It is a game that absolutely should be in the running. Spider-Man 2 is in here. Not a surprise. I think a lot of people are thinking this is that PlayStation paying Jeff Keighley to make sure that it gets nominated, or that it's Jeff Keighley and the people who vote for this snubbing Xbox because of the ABK and the Bethesda acquisitions. But I don't know. I'm not too disappointed with these Game of the Year nominations. I really wish Starfield would have been in there. I wish Hi-Fi Rush would have been in there, but it's another year where an Xbox first-party game is not going to be taking home a Game of the Year award. Not that it really matters for the gamers out here. Most people watch this show for all of the announcements. The question is, how long is this going to continue? What does Xbox have to do to get one of their games nominated for Game of the Year? Does it literally need to be a 99 on Metacritic and everybody says it is a perfect game? When you look at Starfield, one of the things that why this isn't that surprising is when it did come out, there was divisiveness amongst the media, and the media are the ones that vote on these awards. Even Metro, that website there that was just writing the most absurd, biased, anti-Xbox articles about Xbox, but Starfield, all these types of things, they got to vote on these nominations. So the fact that Starfield isn't here isn't that surprising because there was a divisiveness in the media with that game. You think about the 7 out of 10 from IGN. And when you think about Spider-Man 2, people think maybe it's because PlayStation paid them off. The reality is there was almost no divisiveness at all with Spider-Man 2 amongst the media. Media has their preference. They have their bias. They are subjective. These aren't objective nominations that go out here. There's no way that there isn't inherent bias into some of the games that do get the major nominations for these awards. It's just the way it is. I don't think this list is bad. I just think there's definitely a step. The thing that actually is the most annoying out of all of the Game Award nominations this year, and this one is absolutely because there is politics involved. There are people that don't want the bad PR for reasons that just the game has nothing to do with. Like, it is Hogwarts Legacy, which was a phenomenal game that should absolutely have been nominated for at least one award. It got 0 nominations in 2023. Think about the music. Think about it as an RPG. Think about it just art direction and just how detailed that game was. It was absolutely phenomenal. I put out a tweet and it kind of blew up a little bit where I said that Hogwarts Legacy getting no nominations is all you need to know about the validity of the Game Awards. It's not awards that are given out objectively for the best games. I know people are looking at that tweet. A lot of people looked at that tweet and said, well, it doesn't deserve to be in the Game of the Year. I'm not even saying it should be in the Game of the Year awards. I'm saying it should have got at least one nomination out of one category in 2023 because it was a spectacular game that I think a lot of people were surprised at how good it was. So that one was very disappointing, and to me tells me a lot about how the media makes their decisions. They don't want to be the ones voting for certain games. They don't want games that may cause bad PR showing up in this type of stuff. And that part is the most frustrating thing for me. But anyways, Game Awards, we're going to watch it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to watch it mainly for the announcements of games that do come out. Hopefully some cool new announcements and new drops. But the awards themselves are almost like secondary. And I just feel like at the end of the day, the snubs that Xbox got, the snubs that Starfield got, probably just really isn't surprising if you're somebody like me who went into this expecting that this was going to happen with the way that the industry kind of operates and the way that it's been going on the Xbox side of things at the very least. So we'll leave that there. Let me know what you guys think, obviously, about the Game Award nominations and all that type of stuff. But let's jump over here. Let's talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And as every single year, it is one of the best-selling games. We have this year the Modern Warfare 3. Sorry, not Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 3. Always get those, everything mixed up with all the MWs out there. It's topping the UK physical charts, but sales are down 25% compared to MW2. Now, this is physical. Doesn't really matter because most of these sales are going to be digital at the end of the day. But it says here, according to the GfK chart data, via GameIndustry.biz, Activision's latest FPS went straight into the charts at number 1, but physical sales were down 25% compared to those of Modern Warfare 2 last year. And all this really does tell me is at the end of the day, every single year that passes by is 1 year closer to the death of physical games. They are going away, and they are going away fast, as we're seeing major percentage drops from year over year to people actually going out there and buying physical games. And the GI.biz head Christopher Drink pointed out that 72% of Modern Warfare 3 launch sales were on PS5, with 20% on Xbox and 8% on the PS4. And it says, obviously, digital data will change this. Now, the funny thing here is, again, Xbox games with Call of Duty are going to be the top sellers on PlayStation 5. When a game comes out, it is topping physical charts, topping the charts of sales, and it's still down 25%, at least from a physical perspective. You know how powerful of a game that is, and Xbox is going to be able to push that on their competitors' platform, who are then going to have to pay Xbox for that game, and Xbox can reinvest that into creating more games and getting more better games into Xbox Game Pass. So it's a big launch week. We'll see what happens here with the digital side of this game. I feel like it's going to be huge as well. It's going to be on top of the charts. It's going to be number 1 across all the platforms. Won't be surprising. MW3, right now, there's a lot of controversy, I think, in terms of people's enjoyment of the multiplayer. But I have to say, I'm absolutely loving the multiplayer. I don't know what it is. It seems like it's faster than MW2, which I like. And I've spent probably more time at launch playing this game than I have in the last couple of years with Call of Duty games. I'm really enjoying the maps. I'm enjoying the gunplay. I'm enjoying upgrading my weapons and the unlocks and everything. And there's a lot of fun to be had here. So I'm not 100% sure what all the complaints are about, other than probably from the people who are more pro at the game, more experienced, and really dive into it deep every single year, have their gripes. And that's generally what happens. Now, let's talk some Sony patent, because this one's kind of cool. So Sony has a patent here where they're going to want or allow people to launch games from specific points when streaming. It says here that currently, if you want to replay a certain moment from a game that's being streamed, you would have to launch the game, then either play through it until you reach the section you want, or if the game offers a chapter select feature and you have a save file, select that chapter you want to play through. Now, this patent apparently is going to allow you to stream specific moments called trigger points, which would mark sections of the game that you've played and allow you to start streaming exactly from that moment. They make a comparison here, which brings me to start thinking even more about where I think PlayStation is going, which is going to be becoming that full entertainment system, that more Xbox One launch style of system that a lot of people hated, which would bring in TV shows and movies into a single package. But they say here, in theory, this would mean, for example, following the release of a new episode of The Last of Us TV show, Sony could offer players a trigger to that section of the game. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a very good idea. If you're going to try to bring in people who watch the TV shows and they kind of want to see where that adaptation came from in the video game itself, allowing them to go directly to that part of the game, play through it, and then maybe get hooked and play more games in the ecosystem would be a very smart move. But I think this is cool. Hopefully we will see this patent come out and actually start working, because as we know in gaming, there are tons of patents. Most of them don't actually make their way out to the market, but gaming companies out there like to make sure that they have that option. Now, when it comes to one of the Game of the Year nominations, one of the best RPGs from people who have played through it, Baldur's Gate 3, still not out on Xbox, but it looks like it could be very, very soon where they're going to be announcing the release date for this. And Larian is now teasing to Xbox fans, saying, Xbox fans and fans of physical media, watch this space for a formal announcement. And this is from a post on X, basically saying that it's going to be a busy week. That's what they say here from Larian. So looks like we're going to be getting the release date for Baldur's Gate 3 this week, or very, very soon. Rumors have it on December 6th. We're right now November 13th. If they're going to announce it this week, December 6th seems about right. And maybe even it'll come out earlier than that. Let's jump over here. Layoffs are continuing, this time at Amazon Games, which Amazon Games is one of those major companies that have a lot of money that are trying to get in there, compete with the big boys in gaming. We saw Google try it with Stadia. Didn't really work out. Amazon is trying right now. And from this news, it looks like it's not working out as well either. It says, after laying off 100 employees in April, Amazon Games is holding another round of layoffs with 180 employees set to lose their jobs, according to a new report from Aftermath. And this is from an internal email from Amazon Games VP Christoph Hartmann, saying that part of the reason for the layoffs is the company is listening to customers. And here's exactly what he says. We've listened to our customers, and we know delivering free games every month is what they want most. So we are refining our Prime benefit to increase our focus there. With these changes in our business approach come changes to our resourcing, resulting in the elimination of just over 180 roles. And goes on here to say that along with the layoffs, Amazon is shutting down and letting go its Crown channel on Twitch, as well as the entire game growth team. So they're letting go a team that is trying to grow the games industry. They say, no, this is difficult news. That impact will be felt widely. We are proud of the work the team has been doing, pushing into new areas with weekly content on Crown Channel and finding more ways to help publishers reach new audiences with game growth. But after further evaluation of our business, it becomes clear that we need to focus our resources and efforts to deliver great games to players now and in the future. So more changes, more layoffs. Amazon Games is changing their direction. I wonder if this means that they're going to focus on creating one or two very, very high quality games and just focus on that stuff and get those out to consumers and try to make as much money as possible. Obviously, they created a New World, which is an MMORPG, which has people playing for long periods of time. So maybe they're going to continue with that sort of direction. Who knows? But getting into the gaming industry from a AAA perspective is very, very hard. And it's at a time where it's costing more and more to make games. And they're just going to continue to have layoffs, these big companies, if they aren't making the return on their investment that they think that they need to be making. Okay, let's talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Last week, we heard about WB and them wanting to focus more on games as a service. That was very eye-opening as to what happened here with Suicide Squad. If you remember, they showed off this game. A lot of people didn't like it. There was tons of backlash because it was essentially a looter shooter games as a service style of game. People didn't want that style of game. They went back to the drawing board, delayed it, and seemingly we're going to be remaking this game from scratch in terms of the mechanics, like in terms of taking away solely from a looter shooter. And looks like we're now going to be getting another look at this. It says new Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League gameplay coming this Wednesday. This will be the first episode of a brand new series called Suicide Squad Insider. I wonder how they have changed up this game since their last gameplay trailer with all of the backlash. This will be one that I'm very, very interested in seeing what happens, the reception for it, if this is one that people are now going to be excited about, if they've changed enough. Honestly, I'm looking forward to this game. I'm hoping that it does well. The looter shooter style of thing, to me, when they first showed it off, I wasn't the biggest fan, but I was still going to probably give that game a chance when it came out just to try it. And we'll see from Rocksteady what they can do, because I think Rocksteady is phenomenal with games that they make. Hopefully, they've made enough changes here that will satisfy gamers and that this game doesn't end up being dead on arrival because of all of the negative backlash when it finally does release. But that's it for me, guys. Let me know what you think about all of this stuff. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.